Mr. President, I want to congratulate the junior senator from Mississippi, Senator Hyde-Smith. Thank you for her leadership. She took the lead on this legislation, and I'm delighted and honored to join her in this regard. If Americans could take a moment, a few hours, to come to the South Delta of Mississippi and see for themselves what Senator Hyde-Smith is talking about, they would understand the gravity of this situation. She mentioned 7 months. If you're there today, Mr. President, you see dead wildlife floating on the floodwaters. You see coffins that had been buried that are floating on the surface of the floodwater in this area. No prospect of an income this year in these small farms. No prospect of a crop this year in some of the most fertile land that the United States has been blessed with. And the tragedy of this is that it is entirely preventable, and the prevention involves a promise that was made, as the senator from Mississippi said, back in 1941, when this country and this Congress collectively adopted the Mississippi River and tributaries system. And that system included, up and down the river, a series of levees and flood control structures, but it also included a series of pumps. And we're the only state that still, after this entire time, doesn't have our pump that's been promised to us. And there have been environmental challenges along the way, unsubstantiated, I might add. As a matter of fact, the environment is harmed, wildlife is harmed when a flood of this magnitude comes into the area, as is graphically mentioned by, as graphically demonstrated by some of the photographs the senator has offered. She mentions the bathtub effect. Let me make sure my colleagues understand this, Mr. President. The Yazoo River, when the Mississippi floods, backs up into the Delta. As a result, we put down a floodgate, and that is designed to keep the flooded Yazoo River from backing up into this fertile farmland. And we have given a promise, or at least we thought we had a promise, to people living above, with property above 87 feet above sea level, that when the flood water behind the floodgate reaches 87, we'd start pumping and pump that water back into the Mississippi River, where it has a minimal effect. This gives certainty. We know there's going to be a flood. People with property 87 feet above sea level and below know that they're going to be flooded. But the promise of the pump is that if you got land above 87 feet, you can build a house there. You can put your business there. You can plant your crop there and be certain that we get the same protection from flooding that everybody else up and down the Mississippi River and tributary system gets. That's the promise that everybody else gets, but has been foreclosed to us. And so I congratulate the senator for thinking of this solution. And that is a piece of legislation that would correct this problem. Clearly, it would also help if we simply got the Corps and the EPA to agree that the decision 10 years or so ago was made incorrectly, and let us have what the rest of the system has, and that is a flood control promise that gives us certainty that we can conduct our business, have a home, conduct our lives as it was promised. That's all we're asking for. And for 7 months this year, And for weeks and months in previous years, we've been denied that. So I want to congratulate and associate myself with the remarks of the junior senator from Mississippi, to thank her for her leadership in thinking of this particular solution, which would give us a remedy, but also to say that there are other ways that this could be solved. We deserve the certainty that everyone else up and down the Mississippi system now has, and we deserve for that promise made to us back in the 1940s to be fulfilled even at this late date. So I would yield the floor and thank my colleague for her leadership.